Got brother Jared coming up. How you doing, brother? Talk to us.
What's going on? Peace and Pan Africanism, Dr. Umar. I just had a couple questions about black religion and the black church and like how the modern black church differentiates from the black church back in the 60s. Uh how can we use that black church money to uh help the black communities now? And why is it different now than back at what when it was in the 60s?
Good question. You're not going to be able to use that black church money because the people who give the money don't give it with any expectations that it be invested into the community. So you have the blind leading the blind. And I'm not accusing every religious leader of being a scam artist, and I'm not accusing everybody who goes to church of being spiritually and politically blind, but most of them are. See, my issue with black religion is that black religion takes three things from black people, too much of three things from black people that we can't afford to waste. One is money. Obviously, one is money. The black church is the one institution. When I speak of black church, I'm speaking of all black religion. I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're Hebrew. I don't care if you're a Jehovah Witness. When I say church, I'm speaking collectively of black religion. It takes too much money and does nothing for us at all. At all. If you a church that brings in $250,000 a year and you ain't got a credit union, we got a problem. If you a church that brings in $500,000 a year and you not hiring no black people, we got a problem. You got a church that brings in at least $1 million a year and you ain't got no institutions, we have a problem. So you're not going to be able to hold the church accountable because the people who go to church don't hold them accountable. And the reason the church has transformed from an organization that used to fight for black people to an organization that runs from black issues is because after seeing Dr. King's body laid out on the Divine Lorraine motel balcony, after seeing Malcolm's body laid out in the Audubon ballroom, after seeing Medgar Evers' body laid out in front of his house, after seeing Fred Hampton's body drug out of his house, black leaders, the black church in particular, said, you know what? I'm not going out like that. The white man ain't killing me for speaking up for black folks. And that's why you begin to see in the 1970s a transformation of the black church away from being an aggressive adjutant for black rights. The black church used to fight the Klan. The black church used to stand up to the politicians who wasn't doing nothing for black people. That was the black church. But beginning in the 1970s, after those, because the 60s was the decade of assassinations. Make no doubt about it. The 60s was the decade of the assassinations. And so in the 1970s, the black church said, nah, we ain't going down that path. And they start to become weak, docile, and accommodating. And that's exactly what they still are right now. The black church is a disgrace to black people. It is an absolute disgrace. These mega churches, and we got some of the biggest ones right here in Philadelphia, ain't got no schools, no jobs, no hospitals, no bank, no supermarket, no distribution, no manufacturing, no nothing, and be jam packed every Sunday. And why do black people go to church? It's because they want somebody to lie to them and tell them that their problems are going to be solved even if they do nothing about them. That's why you go to church. You go to church to be lied to be made comfortable. You go to church to be told that God is in charge. The black community ain't messed up because you don't do nothing for it. The black community ain't messed up because we not organized. The black community ain't messed up because of white supremacy. The black community is messed up because God made it that way. And the only way we're going to get change is if we call on Jesus to bring the change that is necessary. That is absolute nonsense. And that's why Karl Marx called religion a drug. He said religion was a drug. And I'm not a Marxist, I'm a Pan Africanist, but I agree with what he said. He said religion is an opiate that destroys a people's ability to fight for what they are entitled to. You heard what Napoleon Bonaparte of France said. Napoleon said, religion is what keeps the poor man from killing the rich man. Why you think churches ain't got to pay no taxes? Why you think pastors got the easiest job? Because the white power structure knows one thing. As long as we got Reverend Pork Chop, and as long as we got Deacon Watermelon, and as long as we got Deaconess Ham Sandwich, as long as we got Pastor Chicken Wing, we ain't got to never worry about no black revolt. Listen to me when I tell you, nobody sleeps more there's no oppressor in this world that sleeps more comfortably than the white man right next to the black man. I'm telling you, there is no oppressor on this planet who sleeps more peacefully than a white man surrounded by black men. As long as that Bible is right there, as long as that Quran is right there, as long as those two religions keep on preaching a colorblind multiculturalism, white supremacy has nothing to worry about.
Thank you for your question, brother. We'll
All
move
right, thank
down. Yeah, no problem, brother.